OK, I need to ask, because viewers may be forgiven for being confused. We're reporting this morning there is not going to be a vote on Brexit. The Shadow Chancellor, John McDonnell, insisted during his interview with us there is going to be a vote on Brexit. What's the truth?
He said there's going to be a debate as to whether there are votes. We are deciding at conference. I've been here for 50 years. There's a committee to decide which are the priorities. The delegates voted to choose the one on health, on social security, housing, and John McDonnell's on about credit and interest rates. I've got to tell you, my pubs in Hull, they don't talk about the process and transition. They talk about the things that are hitting them. High interest payments, not having a house, and the health service falling apart. And the delegates decided that was more important.
Oh, hang on a moment. Hang on. Are you saying that people are not talking about Brexit in pubs up and down the country?
No, it's not the big issue. It's not settled about Brexit yet. Nobody knows where it's going. It's about output. And I have to say to my colleagues, those that are 30, is it, they are the few, not the many, in the PLP, the less than 10%. And I say to them, look, I want to remain in Europe, as you do. I do believe, then, we have to debate that issue, and it's called the manifesto. Do you remember this in the election? It makes it clear where our position is. We must wait for the final debate. We've got our conditions about it. Let us wait for that. So why do you have a vote before you know what the outcome is?
The whole point.
So can you...
Well, hang on. With great respect, Lord Prescott, let's just rewind, because that little book...
Don't start the great respect. Just disagree with me, for God's sake. Go on.
You're right. I didn't really mean it with great respect either. So let's just crack on, shall we? That book you just waved at... That book you just waved at us contains a
manifesto.
Right. Contains a completely different view of Labour's position on Brexit to the one that half your people are now espousing. Where do you sit on this, Labour?
Well, look, it's made clear in the manifesto. When you were reading it, presume you did read it, 13 million people nearly voted for it, and it says very clearly we must lay down what our conditions are about employment rights, about environment, spelt out in the manifesto, but we must wait for the outcome. How do you have a vote before you know what the outcome is? Look what's happening to the Tory party. They're split. My argument with my colleagues is, yes, have your view, put that view forward, but why do you feed the media with letters like this to show divisions in the Labour Party? We're fed up with that. We've had an election, and this is the manifesto we fought it on. Yeah. Get on board.
Yeah, this is all fine to get on board, but none of us have any idea what we're getting on board for. The whole point, surely, of this fight... Well, let me explain what I mean. Right now, there is a massive battle going on, right, politically, but in all parties, about exactly what kind of Brexit would be best for this country. We know that, right? Tories are having
with
it,
all different views.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
What is unclear? What is unclear about Labour, and it's your week this week, we'll get into the Tories next week. The Labour position has been changing substantively in the last year, and people are unclear about exactly what kind of Brexit Labour now thinks we should have as a country. That's a legitimate debate, surely.
Of course it is, and it's in the manifesto. We fought an election on it. We made it clear what the conditions of Brexit should be, right, and what we think is important. But we don't know what the outcome is, neither do the Tories.
You want everybody to wait until the decision's been taken. But the whole point of this debate, surely, is that we are negotiating our removal from the European Union, and people want to know what is the best and worst case scenario in that negotiation. Labour's duty to the country, surely, is to spell out loudly and clearly to the electorate right now what they think the best Brexit should be. And my argument again to you is that there are too many different members of the party giving different views.
God blimey. Stand by. I'm reading what Labour's doing. It's in our manifesto. Nearly 13 million accept it. Labour accepts the referendum result, and the Labour government will put the national interest first. We'll prioritise jobs, living standards, build a close new relationship with you, protect workers' rights and environment. It's all there, but we don't know what the negotiations are going to deliver. There's Davis talking now. He's just been put out on the side, hasn't he, by her speech in Italy. They don't know in Europe where we stand on anything. everything. That's the confusion. Once they've sorted out what the offer is, and after all, we were told £350 million a week was going to go to the NHS. Nobody even advocates that anymore, except the silly man Johnson. He's the only one that says it. But quite frankly, nobody believes it. Until we find out what those conditions are, we've told you what Labour want. We were the first to advocate a transition period, right? The Tories were against that, and they've now accepted it. It's all over the shop because they can't negotiate. Look, I negotiated with 47 countries in the Kyoto Agreement. Angela Merkel was on my team, and we had to find an agreement. You have to find an agreement, but you have to understand the agreement's a balance between more than Britain and European Union. Find an agreement. It's called negotiations of common sense. This government hasn't got it. That's why it makes it difficult to make decisions on the final outcome at the moment.